This brings me to agenda item number 8, Gulliver's Tavern, Inc., DBA Foxy Lady, 318 Chalkstone Avenue, regarding incident of December 11th, 2018. Rhode Island General Laws 3521 and 3523. Council.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Alex Louis on behalf of Gulliver's Tavern.
Okay. Before I start getting into the decision, is there anything else we need to put on the record at this point in time? No? So this is in Rhode, Gulliver's Tavern, Inc., DBA Foxy Lady. This matter is before the board today for decision after public hearings were completed on December 17, 2018 on a show cause petition filed against Gulliver's Tavern, Inc., DBA Foxy Lady for an incident occurring on December 11th of 2018. The board has reviewed evidence and heard testimony from the Providence Police and heard argument from counsel. After hearing, the following facts have been established before the board. 1. On December 11th, 2018, the Providence Police conducted an undercover investigation regarding allegations of prostitution at the premises of the licensee. 2. Detective Desmarais entered the premises of the licensee as part of the investigation. He was approached by Ryan, one of the female entertainers working at the licensee's establishment, and she offered private dance in the VIP room for $300. She told the officer that he could perform oral sex on her for said sum. When the officer declined, she stated that she could perform oral sex on him for the same amount. Number 3. Detective Cuellar was present inside the Foxy Lady as part of the investigation and was approached by London, another of the entertainers, who offered a private dance to the officer in the VIP room for $300. She stated that for that sum, he could have, quote, anything he wanted, end quote. The officer went downstairs and was instructed to pay the attendant $100 prior to entry into the VIP area. London then asked for the remaining $200. Inside the VIP area, she performed a nude dance and groped his genitals and advised that they could have sex for another $100 fee. 4. Detective Lafferty entered the Foxy Lady as part of the same investigation and was approached by Blake, another performer from the establishment, who stated that a private dance in the VIP area was $300 for half an hour and $160 for 15 minutes. During that time, she advised the officer that he could, quote, get anything he wanted, end quote. 5. The VIP area of the establishment is an area containing smaller rooms or booths, which have curtained entries and are private areas for the dancer and the patron. 6. The establishment/licensee collects a fee for the use of the private VIP area. At this time, I will request a motion of the board to accept the foregoing as findings of fact in the matter.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Based on the facts contained in the record, I would request a motion from the board to find that the city has established the following violations. Violating Rhode Island General Laws, Section 3521, and as a result of the breach of the conditions which the license to sell alcohol beverages was issued. Violating Rhode Island General Law, Section 3523, permitting solicitation on the premises. Violating Rhode Island General Law, Section 5225, creating a danger to public health and safety. Violating Providence City Code 14-196, open parent 6, non-compliance with state law by an entertainment license holder. May I have a motion that the above violations have been established? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Discussion. Mr. Vice Chairman.
And reviewing the violations, I would like to amend that to include section 14-17, prohibited conduct, which is part of the city ordinance. I know we have to cite it within the citizen's office, but I'd like to add it.
So there's a motion to add
14-7.
is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. So actually, I think we may need to rescind the original motion in order to do this. Council, we were in the middle of a discussion.
If the mover and the second would consent to the amendment, then I think you can do it in the same motion, or rescind the motion and start over again and make this number 5.
Do the mover and the second consent to the amendment of the original motion?
Yes.
Discussion. Mr. Vice Chairman, for the sake of the record, do you have that provision in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Do you mind reading that in?
This is going to Section 14-17, prohibited conduct. Under the following definition shall apply to the section, and it goes to worker under definition, floor, space, licensee, defines prostitution, and a list of other definitions. And it goes on under section, it goes on within that same ordinance, under definition, meaning to engage in or permit prostitution, lording for prostitution, or pandering on the premises. I can just a copy of the house.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. So that brings us to a total of 5 found violations. There is a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? No. The motion carries 3-1. In determining the appropriate penalties in these matters, the board is mindful of the standards set forth in the case of Jake and Ellis Inc. v. Department of Business Regulation. Considering the factors, the board notes: 1. The institute constitutes a danger to the health, welfare, and quality of life of the public as a result of the failure of the licensee to adhere to the laws of the state and the city, particularly with regard to permitting prostitution at the establishment. 2. The harm to the community posed by the violation is severe given the nature of the violation. 3. The incident constitutes a danger to public health and safety. 4. In reviewing the facts, it is clear that the licensee has created an environment in which prostitution is tolerated. 5. Creation of so-called VIP areas for private interaction between dancers and patrons fosters and contributes to the illegal prostitution activities at the establishment. 6. The board takes administrative notice of the record of the licensee, which indicates no violations of any kind at the establishment prior to this incident. May I have a motion to take administrative notice of the factors associated with the imposition of penalties?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries 3-1. Based on the facts in the record, is there a discussion with regard to the imposition of fines and/or suspension of the licenses? Commissioners.
I am, if you don't mind, Mr. Vice Chair, I am hesitating. I'm hesitating because I now know a lot more concerning prostitution than I have done before. Going back to a case where we had an underage individual in another club, not years ago, and trying to bring forward and research all of that information, as well as the loophole at one time that prostitution was in fact illegal in Providence, which then was changed, and to make it a misdemeanor. And so it's under it being a misdemeanor that I have going back and forth trying to understand a little bit more. I believe that the club may have known, and that's it. They may have known of that, and I would almost conclude that they did in fact know, because it was three separate incidents all on the same day, which to me is a pattern. In terms of fines and suspension of fines, I like to hear from other people before I actually talk about that. I understand the hardship that's already been imparted to the club as well as their employees, and that weighs heavy on my mind as well as going forward. I do believe it's a correctable activity, but it's one that the club would have to be heavy diligence and whatnot. So again, I'm just thinking off the top of my head at this point to have other people in.
Any other commissioners wish to weigh in on the imposition of penalties?
Mr. Chairman, agreeing with the key factors that we've established here, I'm not convinced that the behaviors of the dancers were condoned by the establishment. I didn't hear anything that proved to me in any way, shape, or form that the management of the establishment knew anything of this particular behavior. I don't think they encouraged it. To me, they have a very profitable business. They have a legal license to sell alcohol, have dances, and I just can't imagine why they would put themselves in that position where having this illegal activity go on and knowing it to jeopardize their license. It just doesn't make any sense at all to me. We've had other establishments come before us with stabbings, shootings, riots, whatever you want. And because I know it said the city requesting a revocation. I think that's absolutely outrageous. I think it's ridiculous. We've had much worse instances happen in other places, and we never revocated. It took us, I don't know how long to revocate the license at Ultra, and that was another product establishment. So I'm waiting to see what the recommendation of the city will recommend.
Any other thoughts or concerns from the commission?
Yeah, just on the level, and I understand. The number that I keep finding myself is, when I look at 14-7 prohibited conduct, it defines worker means and describes pertains to any person who performs any services on the premises of a licensed business on a full-time or part-time basis or contract basis, regardless of whether the person is denominated as an employee. And so when I read that, that means that if I were in a bar and someone was selling underage, and they were independent contractor, that would still make the bar responsible for underage drinking. Again, I'm reading this for the first time, and so ultimately, what I read is that it is ultimately the responsibility of the establishment to ensure that everything is proper. And I think it's a tough hurdle to go through and to justify, especially under these actions where we've heard testimony questioning whether or not it happened with two people involved and there were no witnesses and that type of thing. But again, I'm looking at the definition of worker, et cetera, and trying to balance.
And I kind of agree with what you're saying, and I think that I've been thinking about this a lot, and it kind of feels when a business owner says, well, I didn't know about it. It was my employees. It's not my fault. That we're saying that, oh, those were the prostitutes. It's on them, not on us as business owners. So I think that if you are really serious about being a business owner in this kind of business, show me that you really care about your business and that you're really going to be doing something that's going to protect your business above and beyond. Because it's really like saying, well, I didn't know, it's their fault. And I just can't, it's bothering me to say, as a business owner in this kind of business, that you had no idea. And hearing you say it, it's like outrageous. Like, oh, it's the girl's fault, they wanted to do it on their own, we had no idea. And I in no way, shape, or form say anything about the women, it's about the business owners. If you really, really, really care about this, you should be more attentive to making sure that it doesn't happen and have higher standards for your business. So I personally make a motion to revoke this license.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Second discussion. For the sake of discussion, I think this establishment is a holder of several licenses. Do we know exactly what licenses this establishment operates under? And while we're looking that up, I'll add my commentary for the sake of the record. I believe that it's fairly easy to make a reasonable inference that the club was responsible for the activity in the establishment and that it had, at best, willful blindness. I cannot imagine that there are two people standing outside of a series of small rooms and they're unaware that people are having sex in those rooms. Thank you. The fact that the club was taking money from the people who are engaging in prostitution as a portion of renting out these small rooms, and then makes a very clear connection between the operation of the adult entertainment license and the illegal activity that appears to have been occurring there. I think that the employee relationship is also clearly established, not only before us, but has been held that these women are employees of the club in other realms. And I think the nature of the incident is very severe. I think questions of policy about what should or should not happen are not what's before this board. What's before this board is a simple question: did violations of the law occur at the licensed establishment? and I believe we have sufficient evidence in front of us that shows that a violation of the law did in fact occur. Council just handed me the licenses held by the establishment. So I believe there is an entertainment license and the Class BV liquor license.
That's correct, Mr. Chair, along with the food dispensing license and holiday sales license as well, and a BX license as part of the B license. So what I will say is I have a bit of a nuanced concern regarding revocation. I believe that all the evidence before us deals directly with the adult entertainment license. I haven't seen any evidence before us regarding improper sale of alcohol, threats to the physical safety of patrons, which, as Commissioner Mancini pointed out, has been our standard concern regarding revocations in the past. We don't have anything in front of us regarding improper sales of food, complaints from neighboring businesses, residences, etc., about the dispersal and use of the club outside of the establishment. The only thing that I believe we have before us are the instances of prostitution. I think the instances of prostitution can be directly tied to the adult entertainment license and may not necessarily be connected to the other licenses. And I'd be interested to hear if other commissioners agree or disagree with that idea.
I think it's related.
Mr. Chairman, if I just may, from the board's perspective, you had this issue previously with respect to one of the Tel Aviv licenses, where there was an allegation as to a transaction involving controlled substance in the establishment. It was not related to the liquor, but the board as a whole treated each license as joint, so to speak. The board is going to deviate from that if you choose to, but there is some precedent to keep all the licenses as one. But again, that's up to the board members individually how they feel about it.
I don't know, to me they're all related together.
Is there any further?
I'm still contemplating that. Sometimes as we're having discussions, when I can't jump to a immediate conclusion, so I'll just give you that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, can I just, regarding the establishment's willingness or ability to control the behavior that goes on, they did for 30-something years. I mean, you can't forget that. They did that for 30-something years without any incidences. And I think Commissioner Perry made it, he referred to it as a prostitution power, prostitution ring. And again, if he thinks that was so, why did it take him 34 years to go in and find that what was going on? So revocating something for the very first time is just outrageous.
So I understand that revocation absent a history of violations is an extreme measure. Although there is no history, prior rulings provide that severe penalties may follow a single instance of an extreme violation. I also think importantly that we don't have a presentation of an ability or willingness to control or eliminate the illegal behavior. We have no corrective actions proposed by the licensee. In other instances, very recently we had a detailed presentation by the licensee on how they wish to correct an incident of violence that occurred inside their establishment. We don't have any such presentation for us in this case.
Question.
Mr. Vice Chairman.
Prior to all of the road and whatnot, as I'm listening to what you're saying, would it be out of character to give the establishment opportunity to offer something that they would suggest to correct those types of actions, or not? Again, I'm going back and forth on revocation.
No,
obviously, I second that motion to get to the discussion phase. Again, I'm concerned not as much about the owners, but more about the employees and the individuals who work here, and that's what makes it very difficult for me because of the number of people that they employ, etc. And I want to be severe, but at the same time, I don't want to be draconian.
I'd like to refer that question to board counsel.
Generally speaking, at this point in the procedure, you would have heard something in that regard, and I'm looking back to the art part for that, which is a matter that was just heard, very similar circumstance, where there was no prior history, and they presented, as part of their defense, if you will, a mitigation plan going forward. You don't have that today. I mean, certainly the board can, it would be highly unusual, the board can certainly request that prior to voting in this regard. It would be highly unusual, as the case, both sides have closed. So the city wouldn't really have any opportunity to counter, or the police department or the city wouldn't have any, to either counter or review whatever plan would be submitted at this point. So that I think would be somewhat unfair to the solicitor folks. But I mean, I obviously know, what the commissioner's concerns are, and I mean, they're valid concerns, but generally speaking, the time for that mitigation would be as part of the case presented to the board.
Any further questions, concerns, or commentary from fellow commissioners?
I'll respond to them. I'm never afraid to make changes in process and policy. One of the difficulties I tend to find in law is that law is not always fair and whatnot, and I'm trying to be as fair as possible, but yet understand the severity of all of it, and that's the reason why I kind of echo something like that, so that we could at least potentially look at something going forward, so everyone understands both the severity, etc., and move forward. And short of that,
Any other commissioners want to weigh in on that? So we do have a motion and a second on the floor. The motion is to revoke all licenses. I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Mancini. No. Commissioner Delia Rodriguez Maswan. Vice Chairman Charles Newton. And the chair votes to revoke. All licenses of the establishment have been revoked by a vote of 3-1. The establishment is now closed. I don't believe there's anything else on the agenda or anything else before needs to be done.
Give the lawyer a chance.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Get it up?